Well, I never really planned to be a pastor, to be honest. I have other plans, but when the Lord takes hold of you, your plan changes. And growing up, becoming high school, getting involved with different crowds, with wrong crowds, I was hanging out with wrong people. I ended up in a lot of trouble, but the Lord finally took hold of me. I was a sophomore in high school, and someone came to my church where I was attending once in a while, and there was one Sabbath when he was preaching. I was seeing myself in his testimony, and I thought that if I continue in the path I was going, I would end up in a lot of trouble. And so at that moment, I realized that God had a call in my life. And then he made an appeal. For the first time in my life, that Sabbath, like I said, I was awake, listening, because normally other Sabbath I would be sleeping, but I was at the edge of my seat. And I gave my heart to Jesus that day. And so that's how basically my journey started, is coming into the ministry.
Ray and I, we both went to school in the Philippines. I went to school there to finish my nursing program. Ray was there for his theology program, but surprisingly, we never met in the Philippines.
That's right.
So once my college degree was finished, I came home to California. And that's where we met. We went to a Filipino camp meeting at Leone Meadows. And Ray was the youth pastor there at the time, but it was just a friendship. We just kindled a friendship.
I was doing recruiting this summer for a summer program, canvassing, co-portering, and so that's why I was there at that camp, just recruiting people, and that's how we met for the first time.
After a little while, I became a Bible worker, and I started to Bible work for Ray at the time. We weren't dating, but I was a Bible worker where he started doing some revelation meetings in Southern California. And it was there while we were working together that we learned that we could partner and work together and be a team in the ministry. Being a pastor's wife is both an honor and a responsibility. And I've been very privileged to work with my husband in the ministry, and it's been great working for church members in several churches. Oftentimes I feel really inadequate because by nature I feel very shy and I don't like being around too many people, or I'm not comfortable also being in the front. But God never fails to fill me with enough courage and confidence and knowledge and wisdom to also make me a leader, and I'm very glad that I have a partner that can lift me up heavenward to do the same.
I'm blessed to have a wife that supports and reminds me and helps me in my ministry, because I know that ministry is not an easy thing. And to have a partner, to have a wife that loves the Lord and love people and love ministry is a great honor as well to serve in my life. And so first of all, I want to thank my mom, because she was the very core foundation in my life in teaching me who Jesus is and showing me in her life, not just in her words, but her action. And there are other people like mentors, pastors, and friends and family that have helped me along the way. I can remember of the guy who preached my first time listening that I was awake. His name is Pastor Falitongo. He was the guy who really helped me to begin that journey with the Lord.
I met Pastor Ray when he was a young man in Hawaii. At the time, Ray had a youthful energy about himself. This made him very interactive and engaging. He would talk with the elderly and the children. He played games with them. He prayed with them. His enthusiasm for interaction demonstrated his love for ministry. Pastor Ray exemplifies what it means to be unashamed of the gospel. I would be remiss if I forgot to congratulate his partner in ministry, Liezel Bibit. Love you both, Brother Ray and Sister Liezel. God's blessings be upon you as you serve there in Georgia-Cumberland.
Some of the memories that I have that revealed to me that God had his hand in leading him in this direction is, just him visiting my father, my dad, who was not a Christian many years ago. But even when I wasn't home, Reynando became really good friends with my dad. Sometimes Reynando would just go over to watch my dad sew his fishing nets or just gardening in the back, and he would just show up at my house even when no one was there, just my dad, and talk story and just share love with him. And when Reynando left for college to become a pastor or, just to fulfill work in the ministry, my dad asked me, "Where's your friend?" I said, "What friend?" He was like, "Your Filipino friend." And I said, "Oh, Dad, he went off to become a minister, a pastor." And, it was then that I knew that he had made an impact on my dad. So hard to reach, but Reynando was able to reach him.
You know, when Reynando was 15, he became a Bible worker for me in Waianae, Hawaii, and was a part of a team that went out to the community and shared Jesus with others. The one thing that stood out to me about Ray was he was always bold and fearless when it came to sharing his faith and sharing Jesus with others. God bless you, Pastor, and congratulations.
This ordination day is simply a reminder that God has saved me, that God has called me to do something, to work for Him. And I feel unworthy, and I feel, I don't deserve it. But I know that I serve a Savior who deserves all of the credit and all the glory. And that's why I feel affirmed in the work and the ministry that He has called me to.